Hello everyone, my name is Uthris, and welcome back to another episode of Medieval Engineers, where we're working on our wonderful floating fantasy island. So last episode we finished up this district. So my frames randomly dropped. It's being just fine a moment ago. So this is the production tier. This is where raw resources get refined and or turned into different products. So we, have our blacksmith here, followed by our carpenter's hut and workshop area for maybe carts and things. We have our leather workers here, and a yard for letting leather dry and soak in materials and air out, while this section back here would actually process the raw leather into items or goods. And then what we didn't build on camera in between episodes is just a pretty standard stonemasons area to work. It has a nice open kind of section similar to Lothloria's, say, siege workshop area. So an open top to allow tall, slender things to be built and then turned onto its side and shipped out through the corridors. I did test putting a king statue on a cart, and I can fit a king statue through this corridor, so it is big enough. And it was even a bulky cart, and I'm sure you could make a more specialized cart for that task. So it's not that big of a deal. This is just a storage shed for equipment, tools, rope, whatever you need. And then, of course, it has its own workshop area for small things, tool storage, item storage, things like that. We also have a nice little balcony out here, which of course I forgot to build our vertical supports on the corners here. There we go. Fixes that. It's gonna have a wonderful view over the next few islands and everything of that nature. I don't know how well you guys can see it down there, that little gray spot started kind of carving out a pit that would correlate with the size of the main island back there. It's just funny when you're down there working on this pit that you're like, okay, so this is a pretty big hole. And you're like, okay, so that's about the size of the island, right? This is how big it is. No, it's not even close. In fact, that fits hardly nothing of it. So obviously these are going to be giant craters in the ground below, and will just have to be done later because it's a lot of removing of trees and things of that sense. So it can be a little slow going to do stuff, but just a size comparison on islands, this is kind of like the main island back here. You can see how much bigger it is than just our commercial island. There's probably 3 of them put together in size. That one's probably 1.5. That's easily 2. That's 2, and that's 3 probably as well. So much real estate is going to be in this thing, and it's going to be, a long build, like I've been saying in the past couple episodes. So this episode, we are going to be working on this tier, this kind of medium upper tier, and this is going to be just your standard market area. So there's going to be stalls, and there's also going to be probably some sort of shops lining it as well. Hold on, I need to smooth this out just to make it a little nicer looking, at least for now. All the terrain can be resculpted and basically redefined to fit the buildings and new landscape that we're going to be achieving, which is always good. So what I'm going to do is actually end up rounding this whole thing off, because I want the market to be on actual terrain rather than blocks of cobblestone. And so to do that, I'm going to have to round it off, and these large pieces are actually going to be the best for that. So you can see we have a nice flat horseshoe shaped plateau now to give us a nice divide. Then I'll grab some long ramps to make the transition down a little bit more smooth. Actually, there won't be a transition because what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually raise the terrain to kind of match a little bit better. So if we go, let's go grass. And of course, you know, doing this, setting the height of your foundation is key. And so we'll just add a new flat layer to work on. In fact, it might be better to just do this in a different color than grass so we can see exactly what we have to work with here. And woodland was probably a bad choice as well, but that's okay. Everything can be changed and or fixed to meet new requirements as needed. So this whole kind of dirt area will end up being market. In fact, I'm going to change it to soil probably because having too much of this texture is no good. Let's see, woodlands, grass a little bit. Just up the radius. Put in some sweeping color changes here. Yeah, let's do needles. And let's go with maybe some rock grass here and there. And I'm doing this kind of loose pattern that's fairly large to begin with because a lot of it's going to be replaced with just dirt. And so when you do this, you want to have kind of a small brush and just kind of go in where you want the pathways to be or high traffic areas. And you just do little swaths of dirt and you're going to keep some variation of just the larger areas still there, and it will hopefully give it a balanced look. So you can see it's a little splotchy in areas, it's covering different sections with different textures, and it can look pretty decent and kind of natural. Again, when buildings are here, things will start to blend in a little bit better. I'm changing the time of day so the sun is illuminating what we actually need to see here. So how do I want to do this? How indeed. So I'm thinking we'll have a standard building here. It's just a shop. And these are going to be small stalls and just covered small buildings. So nothing's, you know, too giant is going to be done here. So we can go with a 6 2x3 kind of, actually that's 2x4. That's fine. So that's a larger building, and we can do a larger building over here. Just kind of hanging on the cliff side of this upper area. And really that's it for larger buildings. I think everything else will be stalls, and the way you lay out your market stalls is generally you just use thin walls to do these U-shapes, which work wonders to kind of just lay out the backs of what you're doing here. And let's go ahead and load in a well for my clipboard here. This is just the standard well that I usually use in most builds. Wells look always very nice in marketed areas. Again, they're getting water via magic, so don't try and make too much sense out of it. Let's go with a market stall there, and we'll do kind of a larger one there. And why not over here? That ain't bad. It's not a bad layout to accomplish. And then of course the lower tiers even below this will house maybe more specific buildings for crafting. I need to look at the list that was submitted for more ideas, of course. And any ideas, we can even do stalls inside the mountain, things like that. But it's nice to have an open air market. So let's go ahead and lay some floor down. Just to cover some of these up. And then also these long platforms to give us a nice smooth junction up and down. Let's see, can I fit anything here? Not really. So the problem with doing these curve shapes is, even though it's low, I mean it's really no taller than a step on the model, but the model is so flat-faced that it's basically a barrier, so you have to go up and down here. It can be a little annoying. So let's go ahead and replace these sides. With something a little bit more interesting. That'll be the first stall, and then this one, of course, will look very similar. This large one will do kind of more of an advanced structure. Obviously going to use windmill blades in combination to roofs for that one. This one in general, we'll probably just use windmill blades. I don't think I have any type of market stall saved in my clipboard here. No. I'll have to add some eventually. And if you guys pause the video, you can actually see some other structures that you've never seen before that I'm trying to use in other builds. That you haven't seen yet either. So, you know, that's just something to look for if you're that type of person that wants to analyze videos for hidden gems. It's something you can do for sure. Let's bring this path forward and then down. Let's see. Oh, not what I wanted. Come on. I'm telling you, I'm getting some pretty bad frame lag every now and then, and it's not helping me out at all. Not to complain, but I am complaining. Then we can just go through and clear this up. There we go. And this is, of course, the roadway up to the airship dock for the commerce district. So it's good to have a nice wide path for that, in case someone bringing like small carts through. Always got to try and keep things with a wide enough pathway for our carts and things like that. So you'll notice that I'll probably be moving things around in between episodes or just via time skip. And we're already at like 14 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and finish up this whole area, make it look nice, and you guys can come back and see the finished product. Alright everyone, so this is pretty much where we're at with the marketplace. It's starting to turn out fairly nice. You can see we also have some scaffolding back here for more buildings. Everything's going to start being layered and become denser as we keep going. But again, you know, we had to keep this kind of wide path through the middle here, just so carts and things can access all the different directions to the different islands and different tiers. So that's why, you know, we have a very kind of empty courtyard in the middle here. But then also, if you kind of picture a whole bunch of people, you definitely want enough room for foot traffic to go through. There's still a whole lot of little details to add, from crates to boxes to chairs, to more wooden details for just countertops and things like that. Still getting this weird frame lag thing. I don't know what's really causing it exactly. It's just really from the whole large map and the physics enabled bridges and things like that. So obviously, I guess we're just going to keep running into this minor problem. It's actually, my frame rate isn't dropping. It's like the simulation speed just slows down. Anyways, you can see the awesome scaffolding for more buildings, and then as we get more buildings kind of hanging off the cliff faces, I'm pretty sure this kind of off-centered pillar will just look a little bit cleaner and a little bit more nice in general. So you don't have to worry about this just being kind of this large structure just hanging on randomly. There'll be some little structures around it to support its kind of shape and everything. And then soon we'll connect this bridge up over to this side, even though at the moment it's off center for some reason. Let's go ahead and fix that. There we go. I believe that's centered now. Looks like it. So yeah, that'll just be another one of the wooden bridges. Hopefully it won't lag too much more. I don't think it will, really. It's just a simulation speed thing, as I said. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are enjoying the videos, feel free to subscribe to my channel for more creative goodness. Leave a like, dislike, leave a comment down below on what professions you would like to see more on this commercial island. So we have, you know, a bunch of the general stores kind of covered at this point, but if you have specific jobs, let me know that. I know there's some that have to go through the comments and look at again. I just know I wanted this tier to be kind of just a general market square. So next episode we'll go down into the nitty-gritty, more specific kind of professions. And you know, I like to hear everyone's thoughts and feelings on how they think the build is going. I think it's going great. It's definitely, in my opinion, going to be one of the best things I've ever built. I might end up adding some more battlements here and there on the side, something very similar to what we have over here, because, you know, just more kind of capital, defensive, high fantasy looking things. I think the better will be. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next episode. You all have a good one.